Welcome, everybody. I am so excited to have an opportunity to interview my friend Al Mega. Al's going to share with us about how he created a 3-day weekend opportunity in less than 9 months from when he decided to. And he is a brilliant creator. He has a side hustle business called Comic Crusaders, where he shares his passion with other people who are into comics and that pop culture and so on. And he's also a really just dedicated, awesome person. So thank you so much for joining me today, Al.
Wepa! Thank you, Mr. Wade G. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it, everybody. What's up? My name is Alexander Perez, aka Al Mega, the CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. What's up? What's up?
Awesome. So thank you so much for joining us. And for those of y'all listening, I messed up. I forgot to hit the record button. So we're doing this again. That's how dedicated my man Al is here. We got like 30 minutes or 25 minutes through a really good interview. I messed it up. So these things happen. But what I wanted to let you get a chance to share, and today, is one of the days that you work, the day that we're hosting this live summit. But I want to be able to share with people because you did something that's awesome. You and I met just a while back ago and shared some ideas. And then next thing you said, Wade, I've got a 3-day weekend job situation. I was like, dude, that's awesome. So share a little bit first, if you don't mind. Why did you want to create a 3-day weekend lifestyle? What did that mean to you, or why did that even come on your, why is that important to you?
The 3-day weekend. Again, this is something I've wanted. You definitely were basically that leaping point for me to, jump into it and definitely proceed it. Uh, but prior to that, I had a job where I was working consistently. I mean, what was weekends? What was 2 consecutive days off? And I had those 7-day work weeks, working through holidays, and I mean not 8-hour holidays, 12 hours. So working through Christmas. I mean, having a pause for New Year's, New Year's Eve, hey, Happy New Year, and go right back to work. I mean, tough times, needing to do it. Economy was hard, wanting to come home. And again, this was black for a while. It's very stressful, and I just needed to figure out there has to be a way out. There has to be a different way. There has to be a better opportunity here. You know?
Awesome. Okay. So when you look at where you were at before, again, you're balancing a couple things. You have your comic crusaders that you're doing where you're very
Yep.
creative. You invest some of your time and energy there. You're doing your work. Why were you not able to create this before? What were some of the obstacles? Like, this, some people might say, well, wait, this happened. Why didn't Al do it before? What made it difficult to do before? Were you overwhelmed? Was there too much going on?
Oh,
Did you not ask?
overwhelmed. Again, a lot of work when you work for a company that had a skeleton crew, ready to be sick, or rather, some folks, honestly didn't want to give 100%. They didn't want to talk trash, but in every job, there's always that type of person that doesn't give that 100, while you see yourself doing that 200. That what's going on here. So they work you to the bone, and again, economic situations. I had to work that time. But again, it was making me tired, and even my wife was realizing that at the time. Like, again, this was darker.
So yeah, so this is something I know a lot of people are overwhelmed by their workload, and I know sometimes people even fall into that trap. I did this for a little bit where I was doing work that I was a little overwhelmed by it, and then so I just went more into, okay, well, I just have to put my nose down and really just not accept it, but just determine, okay, well, that's the way it's going to be.
Mhm.
At some point, it sounds like you made a shift, but I know from
Big
talking to you,
shift.
there were also some variables that shifted. What, first of all, what motivated you to start pursuing this more seriously? Like what triggered you to say, okay, I got to do something different about this. I've got to make a shift.
Well, the trigger was me finding the Podfest family and then running into one and only Weiji and your panel that you had during that particular Podfest summit. And you spoke my language. 3-day weekends. I began to dream. So you were offering an opportunity to learn how to possibly achieve that, or at least, create that roadmap, if you will. And why not? I reached out and you set up the time and we spoke for a couple of weeks. And here it is, folks, the Bible that I printed out, my roadmap, thanks to Mr. G. over here that has helped me in that process to say, okay, let me not be afraid to have this conversation. I hope the opportunity arises. And guess what? The opportunity was arising, which was amazing. So it's like everything was falling into place for me. This had to happen apparently.
Awesome. So how did you, a lot of people get concerned that if they bring this up with their employer, they're going to burn bridges or they're going to get fired or the employer's going to get mad at them. How did it come up with you and how were you able to, you know, start this conversation?
Well, luckily, my company was moving over and got purchased by another company, if you will. So that company had a mentality of valuing time, family time, your time, especially time off. Said, okay, here. So I'm here. I'm a top performer on my previous. I'm gonna kick butt over here as well. I mean, they invited me over to join the company, so obviously that meant something big. That obviously they understood that I do have a value. So that's important. People know your value. Um, so when the opportunity arose, like, what would you like to see happen here? Okay, so the question was laid out. Hey, no fear, jump in, folks. Well, I'm a top performer. I could do that same amount of work in 4 days. You know what I mean? In the equal 40. I'll do the long shifts if I have to. 10-hour shift for 4 days. Give me that 3-day week. I'll perform the same, probably even better. And it's true. I kill it. I see my numbers and I murder it, and it's great. And I'm able to prove that. So they considered it and not just considered it, but they made it happen for me. And Wade, let me tell you, when I first had those first 2 days off, those 3 days off for the first time ever, like over 2 years, I was anxious. I had no idea what to do with myself. I'm like, instead of me sitting in front of this computer, typing away, doing my job, taking care of our wonderful customers, like, what do I do with myself for a day? Oh my God, my wife is working upstairs. Like, what do I do? It's wonderful, but then obviously I planned things out. I figured out I could do things for Comic Crusaders. I could, take care of the house, take care of the family, do things for them. You know what I mean? And take care of me and have some value time. Like, hey, she doesn't like certain shows I watch. So, hey, guess what? She works. I could take care of the big TV for a moment on my day off. Or talk to amazing people like yourself and others, create those opportunities for myself on my days off. So that way I don't have to hurt my time, for work. And when work is work, it's work. And, but I could utilize my time so much better now. And I feel relaxed. Again, I feel color coming back to it. Look at it. There's more salt and pepper than ever now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think that's a few things. That the pace is huge when you start getting to have things go at a more chill pace, a smoother pace. I noticed you mentioned something. Your employer had, it sounds like, some sort of metric to validate that you're doing your work,
Of
and then
course.
also you had some sort of reputation that preceded you, that you were known as a top performer. How did that make the conversation easier with your employer? I mean, did they get a lot of resistance, or did they say, "Oh, well, hey, as long as you can do this, we're up for it"?
No, they knew, they saw through my time from the other that I am a person that could do those. That I was a long termer, a long shifter. That I over excelled in those times. So it's like, why not have a high performing person or a high performing shift, and give them the time. Why not? If they need me, they could feel free to reach out. But they told me no overtime because they value time off. What value this company has for real, and that's also important when you work with it. If your company values you and values family values, for example, then I mean they will listen to you, especially if you are performing. Again, do not undervalue yourself, people. It's key. Be confident in the conversation.
Yeah, I think that's, one of the things I just remind people of, and sometimes people forget, is if you're an employee, you might not understand what a big deal it is to an employer when they lose a good person or to
Yes.
try to replace a good person. It's very costly. Whatever that person's monthly salary is, it might take them 3, 4, 5 months to find somebody. So they're losing that money. And then it takes them about another 50% of whatever that salary is to then train, have somebody else taking their time out of their day to train that person. So it's very costly. And it's not
And
to
it's
say that,
also trust. Trust,
oh,
it's going to take
absolutely.
time for the employer to again not have to retrust someone else, especially when you're valued. I mean, I had employers cry when I've left jobs, but they've also broken my heart because they were good people too. I've always worked with people that were entrepreneurs. I mean, this is the first time I really work in corporate again since high school. Otherwise, I've worked always with entrepreneurs, so I've always had special relationships with people. Maybe that's why I enjoy talking to so many people, because I've spoken to those that have been on that journey.
Absolutely. So now, other than, you said you have more time, you get the big TV sometime. How does that feel just in general different as far as your ability as a provider, as a person in a family to be able to connect with your family more? What's that like?
Well, it's wonderful to be able to have family time, a family dinner. Again, we watch to go ahead, sit family dinners at the sofa. Let's watch something cool like Creep Show, something cool that my daughter could connect to, and it's just fun. We're having those moments now, where I'm not thinking about work. I'm not thinking about anything. It's just, you know, taking that moment, being in the moment with your family, and getting scared or laughing at it when somebody jumps for no reason. Hysterical. It's just so small things, man. It matters so much to be able to have it after not having it. I've been through a lot. Almost lost my wife, 5 years ago, because she got sick as well. Hence, another reason why I was a one income for a while. Our health wasn't there, so there were so many scares. We've hit so many bottoms, and it's been a long journey, but I've never ever given up. My vision, my dream, wanting to do something bigger. And this year, like I said, it's 2021, opportunities opening left and right. So God's good. Let me tell you, you just keep doing what you do, be righteous in what you do, and stay focused on what you do, and you got this. Just the
Yeah, I
truth.
think what's so amazing to me is that you're also doing this Comic Crusaders, and I'll share a little bit more about that now because you have this business that is this more than just a fan site, more than just comics. It's really bringing together a lot of creators, making a lot of things happen. How does your current situation help you with your side hustle, and share a little bit about Comic Crusaders if you don't mind?
Comic Crusaders, the website is all about comic pop culture. Pop culture, it's fandom. It's a love letter to fandom. I have everything: comic books, movies, film. I mean, we speak to everybody. Our vidcast and podcast are part of that. I get a lot of great content and previews from Marvel, DC for you fans out there of that stuff. But we definitely celebrate a lot of independent, all of the guys that are up and coming, the guys and gals. So we show them a lot of love, and it's wonderful for me to be able to receive an email at times like, yo, please, we would love to be reviewed by you guys. Yo, we will be honored. And that humbles me. Like, why? But why does it humble me? It's because I've built an amazing family of team members within Comic Crusaders that are international. And believe it or not, I found them all socially, and I have, contributors from the UK. That's my boy Johnny Hughes. I made him my EIC. He's been with me the longest. Over 2,000 contributions to the site. Amazing person. Yeah, my amazing writer. That's the machine we call him. That's UK, and I got people in Ireland and in Australia, all over the US. I mean, it's amazing the community and family we've built, through Comic Crusaders and Undercover Case, which is the podcast network that fell onto my lap that I allow my team to run and build upon, their particular podcast for their fandoms. It's amazing. It's fun, and we do it in a positive way. It's a getaway. No politics, folks. I promise you, it's all fun. Get away,
Well,
as
yeah, and
Lenny
you know, I
Kravitz said.
what I love, Al, is you have such a focus on family, and you and I, connected through Podfest, which is an
Yes.
awesome family of people that just support each other, support
Oh yeah.
other creators, and sharing their voices.
Big
And
up.
it seems like that's a lot of what you're doing with your work. And again, I think it's so cool that you can have something that's so um, you're not choosing. You're doing both. You're finding a way to do your passion. You're finding a way to pay the bills. You're finding a
Yes.
way to make time for life. You're doing all three. And I think so many people think that that's not possible. And right now, it's perhaps never been easier. It's still work,
Yeah.
but it's never been more flexible to make that happen. What are your
Yes.
long term plans with your work with Comic Crusaders and just everything else in general?
Well, I hope that Comic Crusaders could take over the work one day, and that way that my passion becomes my full time, and how so? Well, connecting with the right network of people, and I've been fortunate enough to meet a lot of very creative folks that have led me to have opportunities to have conversations that could lead to very big things, God willing, and hopefully I got a couple of things in the works there and trying to make this, this site be that one-stop shop. I have an app in the works too for Comic Crusaders. It will be a one-stop app available on Android and iOS, for example. You're gonna get all the podcasts there, or the vidcast, the website news, you know, personal chats, events through the app. I mean, it's gonna be amazing. So it's about growing and trying to now, monetize it, in a good way. Again, I'm also working on a comic shop. My boy is my partner. So we're gonna have a Comic Crusaders comic shop where you could pre-order your favorite comics ways.
So that, yeah, and see what I love about this, Al, is this is to me though, you're willing to do the work. So many people,
Yeah,
you've been
man.
doing this,
Gotta do it.
Comic Crusaders for years. And so when it takes off, and I think that's going to be the case for you, when it's not going to be that this just happened one day or you went to one course and all of a sudden,
No.
no, you've been doing the work. And yeah, you might have gotten some insight. Maybe you got some insight from me, you got
Yep.
some, I'm sure, insight from a lot of other people as well. What would you advise people to do who want to start moving towards even just the basics of, hey, I want to have more time off? When you look at what you did, you were competent, you were already getting results. What would you be telling people if they wanted to open up this kind of conversation in where they work?
Um, a lot of jobs use your metrics. So if you have metrics, use that. Use that as your leverage. See, hey, look how well I performed was. I mean, having an extra day, maybe here or here, actually is going to work in the benefit. I mean, I perform. There was time open. Why not? Because you could shift around here and here. I mean, leverage what you know, leverage the knowledge, learn the company. You could do it. And again, it's just not having the fear. Just get over that. I know a lot of us are introverts and are afraid to take that step, but again, do like I did. Alexander Perez was the introvert, but even when at work, when it takes something like that, I'm Al Mega, the extrovert. Let's get it done. Even if you got to go that far to even create another persona for yourself to make it. That's like from Wade God to Mr. J, the super persona over here. So yeah, do what you gotta do. Just go for it. Don't be afraid. That's what I
Yeah,
say.
and I just
Be
love that you've
afraid.
done it. I know your tone with people and the way you're respectful towards people of saying, hey, this is what's important to me. This is, this would be really great if I could do this. And when you back that up with results, I think that's a lot easier to do.
Absolutely.
Where can people learn more about your work?
Well, you can just check me out. Check out my website, my awesome website at comiccrusaders.com. Then you can check out my extended podcast family at undercovercapes.com. Right? Check out our YouTube. We have shows coming out from my awesome family, and I'm on one with my partner from Australia. So, and that one is a cool one because you'll appreciate the name. So, you know how I'm always saying wepa, right? So apparently the Australian version of a wepa is yeah nah. So we've come up with the show name, the Yeah Nah Wepa Show.
That's awesome.
So we have a blast just talking about nothing. So meaning we cover everything. And it's fun. So, we do that every Saturday night, and my family does, all types of shows covering film, classic film, old comic books, new comic books. You know what? We got it all, folks. And again, it's all fun. It's knowledgeable. You learn a lot. My team, International Comic Crusaders, that I'm also on every other Sunday, we teach people comic history. So you want to know the OGs of comics and who did what when. ICC every other Sunday.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us, Al. For those y'all get to know Al, he is a lively personality. His work is awesome. And I hope his insights can help you start understanding and just believing that it's possible for you to create the type of work situation, the lifestyle you want, and enjoy your family, your friends, and your life a lot better. Thanks so much for joining us today, Al.
No, thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Woo! Whereupon, let's do it. Get it done, Mr. G. Have an awesome event. This is great.
Absolutely. Thanks, brother.